Let's say that we did have, here's North Korea up here, South Korea here, the two capitals. Let's say that North Korea, in fact, did launch a missile and it went out over the Pacific and over Japan. What happens?
Well, Tom, instantaneously what's going to occur is there will be a tracking. The telemetry of that missile will be tracked, which means we'll identify where the launch is, what the arc of the flight looks like, and what the intended target or impact
So we would know within a matter of
like.
seconds if it was
Instantaneously, we would pick this up by sea, by ground, by air, and by space, this integrated target system. And the Japanese even have an Aegis cruiser, which is part of this integrated radar system.
So if it went out there and, in fact, it was not headed to any target we cared about, but went to the sea, as North Korea would say, a test of the missile, would there be any response?
There would be no kinetic response at all. We would not fire back. If we knew that it was going to land harmlessly, we would collect tremendous intelligence, and then we would scramble ships to go find the debris so we can continue to collect some good intelligence.
All right, let's look at another scenario here, which is another possibility. Let's say that North Korea instead, with a missile or with perhaps artillery, started shelling some sort of target down here in South Korea, and specifically, let me say, a South Korean military target. No U.S. troops involved, not a civilian target. What happens then?
Well, very important to differentiate between striking a U.S. facility in South Korea or a South Korean facility in South Korea. Very, very important. And to minimize civilian casualties. What I think would happen immediately is the response is, if North Korea fires, the United Nations Command, the Combined Forces Command of the United States and South Korea, would return very precise fire against that location of launch. Not to escalate, but to maintain the DMZ and the armistice. But if they fire, we would fire back.
Simple equation on that. And then let's look at the one scenario that possibly gets much more out of hand among things that seem like they might vaguely be possible. What if North Korea, in fact, did something like, remember when they shelled some islands over here, basically saying this is disputed territory in terms of who owns what? Let's say they attacked a facility like this in a strong way and tried to land there and essentially seize the property. What happens then?
Tom, not unlike what we just discussed, if the North Koreans were to target and then try to occupy, the United Nations Command, again, would go reclaim that. There would be a fight to get that island back if that was the case. I don't suspect that that would happen. We have seen this specifically before. What might occur, and we have to think about this, the 2018 Winter Olympics are in the town of Pyeongchang. That is tucked up in the northeast corner of South Korea.
You've been there.
I've been there, physically walked the terrain. It's absolutely beautiful. This is where the Winter Olympics are, and it's very close to North Korea. If North Korea was to take an aggressive action against Pyeongchang, that would cause an incredible international implications and a possibly reconsideration. Is this where the Winter Olympics are really going to be held 6 years from now, after the leadership here has had some additional time to try to weaponize their nuclear capabilities?
And again, any indication that even if they did this, that this would spark a larger war, or would it still try to be contained, limited?
Tom, the objective of the armistice and the ceasefire is to maintain the armistice. The presence in South Korea is not to expand and reclaim, reunify the peninsula. It is to hold what we have.